Right, they want us to find the rational equation that looks like this for this graph right there. Now that looks like a linear equation, and it really is kind of a linear equation, except for the fact that there's a hole there. And when there's a hole there, what happens, if you remember way back when, you've got something like x plus 2, x minus 3 all over x minus 3. These cancel,
And then
and that's your equation, but there's a hole at 3 in this case.
3.
So, well, I was just giving you an example. So
Wouldn't
for
it be
this,
2?
yeah, I was reminding you of what you did before. So that's what we're looking for. We're trying to find out what cancels. Well, if there's a hole there, if there's a hole at -1, that means x plus 1 is a factor of the top and the bottom. That's how we got the hole. And then we also know that a root means a 0. That's this 0 is at 2. And when you have a root, that means that you have a factor in the top. Every root is related to a factor, and that's the factor. And then the last thing we need to do is make the y-intercept work out. And that might have to do with what number is in front here.
Wait, so when you get the hole,
But in this case, that works out nicely because when we plug in 0 for x to find the y-intercept, well, remember, you've got x minus 2 is up here. This really is just x minus 2. When I plug in 0 for x, I get -2.
so do I just
and so that's nice.
this? And then that'll be my...
If when I plug in 0, if I didn't get -2, there's a little bit more work that you have to do because that means there's a factor in front that you have to figure out what that factor is to make that -2. So on your test, they might say something like...
that's what letter E is.
They might say something like the y-intercept is at -4. And if they said that, then you need to say -4 is your y-intercept equals a times 0 minus 2, which means a equals 2. And so your equation would have been that if that was the case. That's not the case, so your answer is just that right there. Whoops, that right there. That's your answer. Y equals x plus 1 times x minus 2 all over x plus 1.
X minus 2, wouldn't it be x plus?
No, because the root is a positive 2.
The root is positive 2, which means x equals positive 2. Back that out, set it equal to 0, and you get x minus 2.
Okay.
That's how you do that.